Mirchi FM is #1 in Singapore.
और किसके सुनिए यार, हमारा एक सच्चा साथी है मिर्ची एफएम लंबा साथी.
I love Mirchi FM. It's so hot.
देखे में लाल लाल, खाए में हाय हाय. Tangi taupa में Mirchi FM is hot.
Here at Rugby Town, Singapore, love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM is #1 in Suva.
It's hot.
हम इंग्लिश लंबा समय रहता है तो क्या बताइए हम मिर्ची एफएम सुनता है.
Mirchi FM, बहुत जुलूम जुलूम.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
In this bulletin, voter education on Fijian elections offers priority list. Startling revelations in human trafficking trial. And 9 retired teachers offer services to Tuvalu. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. The Electoral Commission says voter education and awareness top its list of priorities. Foremost is explaining to Fijians how their votes will translate into the allocation of seats in Parliament.
The Electoral Commission recognizes that a lot of people are still confused about what happens after they vote.
We are looking at the materials, and I suppose what we're doing is we're trying to identify the right time to flood, if I could say, the environment with voter education.
An expert from the European Union is working on education materials which will spell out the counting and seat allocation process so everyone can understand. Even amongst political parties and NGOs, there's been some confusion.
Even last week when we had the meetings with the political parties and the independent candidates and the NGOs, we had emphasized that we will be holding a separate briefing with them on it because I think some of them don't understand it.
Meanwhile, election staff who will manage the polling and counting centers are to undergo intense training.
They will be obviously taught how the voting is going to be, how the allocation of seats are going to be made and done. So yes, no, that is absolutely right at the top of our list.
The elections office right now is focused on hiring 14,000 people for polling day. As soon as that's done, which is likely very soon, work begins on voter education and awareness. Edwin Nand, FBC News.
The Education Ministry wants the bus industry and the Land Transport Authority to step up after the accident in Colombo Nasinu sent about 30 people to hospital. Permanent Secretary Dr. Bridgelal says news of the accident was shocking and he sent staff to the scene immediately. Dr. Lal says he expects results from the relevant authorities in the coming days.
It depends on the owners of the bus industry. At the same time, the Land Transport Authority, who are responsible for checking the safety and security and all that, so they will have to play a greater role.
Some of the accident victims were seriously hurt and remain hospitalized. A police caution interview read in the Suva High Court today revealed that underage girls were called for sexual services by clients in Suva and Nandi. This was revealed in the trial of Inoke Raikandroka and Mohammed Shifaz Sangaitu, who have denied charges of facilitating movement of commercial sexual services. It's alleged Sangaitu and Raikandroka trafficked 2 underage girls and a woman in 2012. The court heard prominent businessmen and a member of the judiciary were regular clients. Both the defense lawyers filed a no case to answer on some of the counts, saying what transpired wasn't slavery. Justice Madigan reminded them that in the caution interview, the accused said the girls were their products, that they would beautify them before taking them to clients. A ruling on the application will be made on Monday. 9 retired teachers have offered their teaching services to Tuvalu, bringing the total to 39 Fijian volunteer teachers serving in Pacific Island countries. Mika Longa went to their send-off ceremony organized by the Public Service Commission.
These are the 9 retired teachers who've volunteered their services for the tiny island of Tuvalu. They were handed travel tickets this morning.
I cannot wait to go and teach. I know that there's a lot of challenges there.
I really want to go up and serve in one of the Pacific regions as a volunteer.
We have to showcase all the skills we have learned in Fiji. We'll try to upgrade the education standard of those people in Tuvalu
Most of the volunteers will be teaching literacy and numeracy in primary schools, while 2 will teach mathematics in secondary schools.
The volunteers have gone through a stringent process of recruitment with the Tuvalu Ministry of Education officials, and they have picked the best.
We are totally blessed with this volunteer scheme. We are getting to absorb into our civil service, particularly in our teaching profession. Experienced teachers.
It's a remarkable development in our history, as well as the achievement of government in this regards.
Also standing proud, the Education Ministry says it's ready to facilitate and assist the PSC with the recruitment of more volunteer teachers.
Once a teacher, you are a teacher all your life. And we are happy that Pacific Islands need some very senior people.
Most of the volunteer teachers are in their late 50s and early 60s. Their salaries will be shared between Fiji and Tuvalu, while some of them will be stationed on the capital, Funafuti. Most of them will be serving in the outer islands.
They are in need of English-speaking teachers to carry out the delivery of education in those islands.
Run by the PSC, the Fiji Volunteer Service Scheme is fast gaining popularity in the Pacific.
The ones that have kicked off already have been themselves a hallmark in the region. Marshall Islands, Nauru, and the Solomon Islands.
The latest recruits will leave for Tuvalu on Thursday. Mikalonga, FBC News.
President Ratoepeli Nailatikau was hosted at a reception by Fijians living in Jakarta, Indonesia early this week. Ratoepeli is in the Indonesian capital to visit the Fijian embassy, which opened in 2011. The president updated the Fijian community in Jakarta on various developments taking place, particularly developments on the Democratic Front, including the September elections. Ratoepeli also expressed his gratitude to Fijians living there for strengthening Fijians' presence in Indonesia. Fiji's ambassador to Indonesia, Tui Tavulati, briefed the president about areas the Fijian embassy has been working on to strengthen relations between the two nations. Coming up after the break, Fiji Academy of Music to bring together musicians from all over the country.
Today FM is #1 here in Singapore.
We love Today FM in Lambasa. It rocks!
My favorite station in Nandi is Today FM.
Listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks in Sabah.
Lotto kasi love Today's Kid Music.
I love Today FM because they play all my songs.
We love Today FM at Vuniva Lambasa. Yeah, it rocks!
I love Today FM because it rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Bulan 2 sa Tolu FM, and naban 2 Raki-Raki.
Bula FM naban 2 Inosor.
Go etapo ke boto kola sa Bula FM nga.
Bula FM naban 2 Corvo.
Bula FM naban 2 Sawa.
Bula FM naban 2 Lautoka. Bula.
Naban 2 ng Bula FM member.
Bula FM
naban 2 NSR in Singapore.
Dal talitak na warong ng Bula FM Lautoka.
Ali akar warong ng Bula FM naban 2 NSR.
Bula FM naban 2 NSR.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. A man is being questioned in police custody about the house fire on Kikau Street in Samambula yesterday. The National Fire Authority is now working with the Fiji Police Force to investigate the cause of the blaze. Vositakote Wasawasa reports.
The NFA says it is narrowing down the list of causes of the fire.
We haven't determined any cause of investigation. So during the process of investigation, we have a list of possible causes, and as we commence and gather more evidence, we will start to eliminate some of the causes until we identify the cause of the fire.
O'Connor says they are working closely with the police to question witnesses and to find out how the fire started.
Yesterday, while my officers were at the scene, the police investigation forensic team were also at the scene. So we're working very closely with the police.
While extinguishing the fire yesterday, firefighters had to struggle to cope with low water pressure and a leaky water hose. O'Connor has denied any faults with their firefighting equipment. He says this did not incapacitate the ability to fight the fire at Kikau Street. Fosita Kotumasawasa, FBC News.
With 2 months to go before the 2014 Fiji Performing Rights Music Awards, the organizers have formed the Fiji Academy of Music, enabling everyone in the music industry to have an equal say in the voting. FIPRA Chairman Ermasi Tamanisao says all performers, including singers, instrumentalists, dancers, recording engineers and others, can be part of this academy. Tamanisao says the whole idea of forming the academy is to get a holistic approach to the music industry in Fiji and allows everyone to have a say during the awards.
FIPRA membership is open only to composers and publishers of music. It does not include singers, it does not include instrumentalists, it doesn't include dancers. So, but in opening this up, or in establishing this Fiji Academy of Music, it opens it up to everybody who plays a part in music in Fiji.
The 2014 FIPRA Music Awards will be held on the 26th of July at the Grand Pacific Hotel in Suva. Students in Lambasa have been receiving a crash course in film production from 2 New Zealand experts. The training was to help students from various schools in the north get a head start on 2014 Kula Film Awards. It includes briefing the students on the basics of production, script writing and filmmaking. Ellen Stahls reports.
Students participating in the 2014 Kula Film Awards in Lambasa met at Khalsa College to meet with trainers Patrick Gillies and James Wilkinson, visiting from New Zealand. Teaching 30 or so high school students the principles of filmmaking, Gillies said it was crucial that they tell their own stories.
Our role is basically to bring a bit of an international perspective to that kind of film education, and one of my goals is to really encourage the school children to find their own kind of creative inner voice, because I believe that everyone has a story. So it's our job to really kind of encourage the school children to find their own inner voice.
Taking them through the pre-production stages of making their film for the awards, Mr. Gillies says it was essential for students to organize their work. Last year, a total of 37 high schools were in contention for the main prize at the Kula Film Awards, and this year there are a few new schools that have also joined.
For reasons of logistics, all of the schools are not able to take part. We have some of the outer island schools also taking part. So what we also hope to do is record some of the instruction that will be given tomorrow and throughout the week, and training materials to ship out to the students.
The trainers will also be meeting up with students in Nandi to conduct their final training sessions before they leave the country. Ellen Stahls, FBC News.
In its latest quarterly report, the ANZ Bank upgraded its 2014 real gross domestic product forecast as investment activity is expected to remain strong. Ritika Pratap reports.
The increase in government capital expenditure over the past few years and the announcement of a date of the general election and subsequent preparations are just some of the factors contributing to the positive economic climate.
In the last few years, businesses have done well. Businesses are reinvesting in the business, which to me is a good sign. I think the country has moved forward, and we have every confidence in the country to move forward even further post-elections.
Vishnu Mohan says they are hoping that progress will continue in the same manner.
Every single activity, I think tourism has picked up. We are seeing more tourist arrivals. As I said earlier, the businesses are doing very well. There's a lot of intra-regional trade happening. A lot of Fijian businesses are looking forward to investing in other parts of the Pacific. And similarly, there are investments coming into Fiji from other parts of the Pacific. So all in all, I think it's a positive story.
Meanwhile, Paradise Beverages Fiji Limited, which has recently embarked on an $18 million upgrade project, says a lot has been done to stabilize the economy, and they have every confidence in Fiji.
And I think when you go to free and fair elections, which they're planning to do in September, it just adds another shade of confidence. We've had confidence, or we wouldn't have invested this money if we didn't believe that the government would be free and fair and that it would be sustainable for the long term. We wouldn't have invested. So we have confidence in the current state of play with the Fiji government and the current culture here.
The Reserve Bank of Fiji has stated that the Fijian economy will grow by 3.8% this year, as opposed to the 3.0% forecast earlier. Ritika Pratap, FPC News.
Kiribati has completed purchase of Ngatoa estate in Vanua Levu for $16 million. Kiribati's President Anote Tong confirmed the government made the final payment of $14.2 million this month to the owners of the estate, the trustees of the colony of Fiji of the Church of England. PAC News reports the Kiribati government sent a team to Fiji early this month to settle the purchase of the 5,460-acre piece of land. They were assured the certificate of title after all requirements were met and the final payment made. President Tong says they are exploring options of possibly opening a fish cannery or using the land for livestock and agriculture. Sports now, here's Jamie with the latest.
Good evening. Up ahead in sports, 2 more reps unavailable for Flying Fijians tour after copping injuries, and updates from the OFC Under-19 Championship. This and more after the break.
It's always Gold FM for us at Golden Point, Raki.
Gold FM is #1 in Lusaka.
Gold FM is Nandi's best radio station.
It's always Gold FM with us here in Singapore.
Old is gold, and Gold FM is #1 here in Lautoka.
Singapore loves classic hits on Gold FM.
Listen to Gold FM here in Tagua.
We love Gold FM in Ba.
We've got beautiful beaches, people, and Gold FM in Raki.
Lautoka loves the classic hits on Gold FM.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Bato Bahe, Bame Radio Fiji 2 के कौन सा के रोके ऑनलाइन क्लियर
रेडियो फीजी 2 रकी के लोग ज्यादा सुनते हैं।
नैनी में हम सबकी पसंद रेडियो फिजी 2।
तालेबू के लोग रेडियो फीजी 2 सबसे ज्यादा सुन रहे हैं।
मेरी पसंद रेडियो फिजी 2, नसोरी में सभी को पसंद रेडियो फिजी 2।
टावा में रेडियो फीजी 2 सभी कोई सुनते हैं।
रेडियो फिजी 2 रॉक।
रेडियो फीजी 2 आई लव यू।
देश की धड़कन रेडियो फीजी 2।
Welcome back to FPC Sports. The hour has come for the Vodafone Fiji Under-20 football side to prove their worth in the OFC Under-20 World Cup playoff match against Vanuatu. Fiji is currently tied with Vanuatu 2 goals to all in a thrilling encounter at the ANZ Stadium. A win for our boys tonight means history for Fiji football by qualifying for the first time in any FIFA World Cup tournament.
And they do play a square pass too.
And we cross over live now to the Fiji and Vanuatu match at the ANZ Stadium. It's currently 2-2 with 16 minutes until full time. To get live commentary of the remainder of this game, you can tune into FBC's Radio Fiji 2 with the voice of soccer, Raymond Stoda.
Try and lock position and play back into your midfield.
The delayed coverage of this match will air on FBCTV at about 10:30 tonight. Meanwhile, earlier today, the Solomon Islands defeated American Samoa by 5-0. On to other sports. First, it was former Flying Fijian skipper Netani Tale, now knee injuries to Leicester Tiger wing Vereniki Ngoneva and La Rochelle centre Lepani Mbotia will most likely see the pair become the latest players to get scratched off the Flying Fijians list. Elena MacDonald reports it's not the best news for a side that has only a week to prepare for their first test match against Italy.
Joining Vereniki Ngoneva on the sidelines is fellow Flying Fijian Lepani Mbotia.
He played about 70 minutes of their game on the weekend. I had an email overnight which didn't confirm or not confirm his injury, but we're inquiring with his club today and expecting a report from the club to see his availability or otherwise.
While their absence presents a challenge to the Flying Fijians camp, the national side is not short on talent as other overseas-based reps continue to arrive this week. With less than 10 days remaining before their first test against Italy, extra pressure is on the coaching staff to produce the best plays.
Coaches, we had a really good day yesterday. We sort of workshopped all day, worked through our bit around our philosophies and our game plans and things. So it was really good open discussion and throwing ideas around. That was really good. So the coaching team's come together very well.
With his full squad expected in by Monday, Coach McKee's main focus these next few days is establishing the ideal combinations. Considering those who are at his disposal, Fiji rugby fans should only brace themselves for what will be a huge game against Italy next week. Elena MacDonald, FPC Sports.
The Association for Surfing Professionals has brought back the Women's World Tour to the country after a lapse of 8 years. It's come in the form of the Fiji Women's Pro, featuring 17 of the world's best thrashing it out at Cloudbreak in Tavarua throughout this week. Josephine Navulo went along to see what the excitement is all about.
The world-class cloud break is no doubt every surfer's dream.
We love coming here to Fiji because we get to see a lot of big waves, and that poses a challenge for the surfers, and it really showcases that aspect of their talents. Some of the other places that we go have smaller and more beach break type of waves that also allows them to do aerial maneuvers and different aspects of the criteria. So everywhere's got their different aspects for surfing that showcase the talents.
For these women, riding at cloud break has been a serious challenge, yet an ultimate test for their surfing prowess.
Got a lot building up into it. The waves are going off, obviously, and for the girls, this could be possibly tomorrow one of the best days of surfing we've ever seen for women. You know, there's a lot of young girls who are charging, and the skill level's really high, so it's good.
What's most exciting, though, is the fact that the Fiji Women's Pro has been added to the ASP Tour, the perfect development tool for surfing in Fiji.
It's good for Fiji, good for our country, bringing all those women's events back this year. So when they get our girls really impress our girls this year, so in coming years they will get better too.
8 years after the competition was held here in Fiji, the Fiji leg of Women's Series will set a good platform for a good finish in the 2014 season. For FBC Sports here in Tavarua, I am Josephine Navula.
Netball reps Unai Siraluni and Rachelin Daveua have qualified for the Fiji Pearls squad heading to the Pacific Netball Series in Cook Islands next week. The pair returned from a stint in Singapore to impress selectors for the tournament, which also serves as a World Cup qualifier. Tsalen Daudakadaka reports.
International exposure has paid off for sharpshooter Unai Siraluni and defender Rachelin Daveua after being recalled into the Fiji Pearls squad for the Pacific Netball Series. Officials are confident the duo will play their part in the regional playoffs.
Both our players who are playing in Super League in Singapore have arrived, and they forced their way into the team. We have been monitoring their performance in Singapore under the former Silver Ferns coach, Ruth Aitken, and our selectors and our coach were delighted with that, and that's the reason they've been included in this team.
Their inclusion will be a timely boost for the side's goal to not only retain the PNS title but also qualify for the 2015 World Netball Championships in Australia.
All preparations are for a win in the PNS. We definitely will qualify for the World Champs next year.
The 12-member squad contains 8 survivors from last year's victorious campaign. This will be the biggest test yet for coach Julie Honweg and her players to once again stake their claim as the true champions of Pacific Netball. FBC Sports.
The National Swimming Championship this year has never received so much support. First, the Fiji National Sports Commission handed them a grant worth $40,000, and now Pacific Energy has hopped on board with a $5,000 boost for the event. Recent support has come from the initiative from officials to promote swimming around the country.
Swimming to Lomeri, where we've taught them how to use the sea. We've taken swimming to the Rewa River and down the Delta and spoken to teachers and trained teachers in the Rewa area how to handle swimming in the river and how a lesson can be taken in the river. So there are many practical ways of handling swimming, and it's a very important skill.
32 schools from around Fiji, including a New South Wales team, will compete over 2 days at the National Aquatic Centre in Lauvala Bay from tomorrow. That was your sports for tonight. Good evening.
Fiji Link, the new brand for Fiji Airways subsidiary formerly called Pacific Sun, will be launched next Friday. The launch will coincide with the arrival of the domestic airline's brand new ATR 72-600 aircraft from France. Fiji Airways CEO Stephen Pickler says June 6th will mark an important chapter for the national carrier and its subsidiary. The formal launch function will be a gala event at Suva's Grand Pacific Hotel. It was a generally sunny, cool day in Suva. With more on the weather, here's Trish.
Fine weather it was, Jackie. Just a few very light scattered showers, mostly up in the hills during the afternoon. Nadi Lotokamba and Lambasa all had nice weather throughout the day. Looking at the temperatures, the lowest was Savu Savu with 27, Suva Nadi Lotoka on 28, whereas Bahi 29 and Lambasa topped out at 31. Cool again tonight with Suva and Navua dropping to a cool 15, whereas the rest of the centers will be between 16 and 20. Tomorrow's forecast is for weather much the same as today. Clear in Suva and Savu Savu during the morning with a chance of scattered showers in the afternoon. Nadi Lotokamba and Lambasa will have fine weather all throughout the day. Looking to see a strong wind warning remains in force for all of Fiji waters, southeast winds 20 to 25 knots and rough seas. Our picture of the day seems to match today's sunny weather, a beautiful butterfly on a sunlit flower.
That's lovely. Thanks so much for that, Trish. Our main stories again. Fijian Elections Office prioritized voter education, startling revelations in human trafficking trial, and 9 retired teachers receive airline tickets to Tuvalu to offer their services. Now to the poll question we're asking. Can Fiji Under-20 soccer create history by qualifying for the World Cup? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's news for now. Good evening.
Talita na Radio Fiji 1 na mwira ni nonda bonua.
Ando talita kana borrongo na Radio Fiji 1 singa toka mboleta ni station ni alumatua.
Ando talita ka bale una borrongo na Radio Fiji 1 station ni alumatua ilo toka.
Ando talita ka bale una borrongo na Radio Fiji 1 na mandi na station ni alumatua.
Au tungo korbo ando borrongo lebe na station ni alumatua na Radio Fiji 1.
Ando borrongo na Radio Fiji 1 na station ni alumatua na mandoi tele.
Na Radio Fiji 1 nando mwe bitina bonga ni BNN.